Hey guys, so these videos are very long, but I feel like I have to um do it. And I don't know if I'm the best person to be doing this, but I'm going to try my best. Um so when you give your life to Christ, you become a new creation. You become a new person. I'm saying that because um my life changed drastically after I gave my life to Christ. And life with Christ is not easy because now you're not of the world anymore, so the world doesn't accept you anymore. So things that were easy for you in the world are now difficult. Or not difficult, but like now you're an alien to the world, you know? Because now you guys do not agree anymore. Um, so, yeah, and dealing with that was leading me to revert back to my sins. It was leading me to revert back to my sins. And that's the world trying to get me back to my past life. I was going back to my sins, like trying to smoke again, trying to drink again, trying to go back to my ex, even while I was married, trying to masturbate, trying to I was looking for an escape through anything. Through anything. And when I couldn't find that escape, I felt like I was stuck and I felt like change was not coming. I felt like nothing was going to ever change. So I decided to take my life because I felt that was the only way out. But that was the devil trying to deceive me. And even in the Bible, it says in Galatians 4, it said, Galatians 4 verse 8 says, "Formerly, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not gods. But now that you know God, or rather are known by God, how is it that you are turning back to those weak and miserable forces? Do you wish to be enslaved by them all over again?" That is like when you've given your life to Christ, why are you trying to go back to your sins? Because the devil will try to paint that life before Christ was easier and was much more successful than the life with Christ. Because life with Christ is filled with trials, filled with all sorts of things, all the choices that you could easily make in life before Christ. Now you can't make them anymore because they are filled with sin. Things that I could accept in my past life, like sleeping with somebody to get ahead, or not necessarily caring about adultery or fornication or any of those things, living for myself, not necessarily caring about the next person beside me, living in pride and all that. I'm not going to paint myself as a holy person or as somebody that is now like, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going through. Okay. So yeah, I was going back to my sins and it's in the Bible right here. Anything in this life is in the Bible, I'm telling you. So that was happening. And I did what I did. I committed suicide. Then I realized like, oh my god, like what nothing in this life is worth losing your life over, honestly, because when you are in that deathbed, when you are on that deathbed, all these titles and possessions, they mean nothing now. It's now you and Jesus Christ. Your possessions, your wealth, it means nothing to God. Absolutely nothing. It's all metal and all paper to him. Means it has no value to him. Now it's your soul that matters. And how did you live your life is what is going to tell you where your soul is going to end up. So when I was on that bed and I was watching my blood pressure go high and my heart rate go extremely low, I was like, oh my god, am I actually going to die? And I was like, you know what, I'm not dying, God, please, I'm sorry, I don't want to die. I don't want to die, because nobody wants to die. Everybody just wants to be heard and understood by God, you know. But sometimes it leads you to do some certain things. Sometimes life situations lead you to do some certain things that is just not of God, and not usually the way out, honestly. And anyway, so I was saying Psalm 23, and I was drinking a lot of water while I was there to flush out the drug from my system, because I tried to overdose on a sleeping drug or something. And if you sleep, that's it for you. And I was literally watching my heart rate and my blood pressure go down and up, and I was like, oh my god. It was not a fun experience. Anyway, so the Bible tells you that. And then and also okay, so let me just read this chapter or verse. Okay, so in chapter 5, Galatians 5, verse 13 to 22. I'll just read it to you guys. So, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. That's when you've given your life to Christ. We are called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. And let me tell you, since I have given my life to Christ, love your neighbor as yourself is so hard. It's so difficult, because people are not lovable sometimes. Some of them are so annoying. So when you tell yourself every day, when you leave the house every day and you tell yourself, I'm going to love my neighbor as myself, and then when you come out of the door, somebody's already annoying you. Maybe the listening office is already annoying you. Your neighbor is just like, so like, has a vicious attitude towards you, and you're just like, why do I even bother? Like, why is this necessary? But that is all part of it. That's the trial. Now you have to love regardless of whatever it is you're going through. And I'm not the best person in that this thing, and I'm praying to God to teach me how to actually love my neighbor as myself, because I'm not going to say I get angry easily, but I deal with that, and I hope I am able to love my neighbor as myself, regardless of whatever it is they are doing to me, or whatever it is I did to them. Honestly, because sometimes it's easy to point the finger at somebody else, like, you do this, you do this, you do this, but forgetting that you also sometimes are the problem too, you know. Anyway, so yeah. Okay, so love your neighbor as yourself. 15. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So now the world promotes disunity, it promotes hatred, it promotes all kinds of things, so that we can fight each other. Like all this racism thing, it's not from God. It's not from God, because because even in James it says, do not play favoritism to one another. Do not play favoritism. But that is what all this racism is about. Favoritism to different races. Oh, I'm a white person, I'm a black person, I'm Asian, black only, white only, Kinikon only. And I'm just like, this world knows how to deceive people into doing things for themselves. Meanwhile, you're trying to take their soul in the end. And I was part of that. And I don't even blame them for that, because if you go through racism, you too, you will join those people. You will join the whole fight against one another. So I don't blame them. because it's not fun to go through that and feel like nothing, to go through racism and feel unloved, or feel like your life is so valueless and so low and so like. But now God is calling us to love regardless. That is not easy. It's not easy because I went through racism, and I'm still dealing with it today, because when that seed has been planted in you, now you look at everybody with that eye. Now I look like at the race, at that other race that did the racism to me, with that same eye of like, I'm trying to protect myself from them. Now I feel like I have to protect myself. I have to protect my heart because I don't want to feel that hurt again. Now I feel like I don't even want to associate with them, because now I don't feel like I want to be in the same, you know? And that's what the devil wants. Do you understand? He wants that hatred. He wants the disunity. He wants us to fight each other. He wants us to hate each other. He wants us to abort children. He wants us to live for ourselves and feel empowered by ourselves, make us feel like gods. But there's only one God, which is God, the creator of the heaven and the earth. Anyway, so yeah, live in this if you bite and devour each other, watch out, for you will be destroyed by each other. That is what the devil wants. He wants us to destroy each other. He wants us to destroy each other. Even your marriage, be careful, because while I was in my marriage, or while I am still in my marriage, there was like before I even committed suicide, I was so pushed to divorcing my husband that I was just like, because nothing was changing, and I was like, what is this man is it the cause of all my problems? Like, associating with him, was it a bad idea? It was a terrible idea. Like, I started looking at the marriage like hell. I started looking at my marriage like hell. But that's what the devil wants. He wants the divorce to happen, because in the Bible it says, what a man puts together, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And that's what the devil wants. He wants to break marriages. So anything that makes you feel like, God, I can't live the rest of my life living like this, in this kind of situation. Like, this guy does not change. He doesn't put his towel back on the rack. He's so tacky. He's so this. He's so that. He's so this. Da, 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 da. Making you like focus on only the bad things and forgetting the good things to be grateful for, like your family, like laughter moments, like love moments. Like when he actually cooks or does something nice, you close your eyes towards that and just see only the bad things. Only the bad things. Oh, he smells. Oh, why is he not brushing his teeth like this? Oh, his dentition is this. Oh, this. You're not the kind of guy. You're not this. You're not da 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 da. I was so pushed to divorcing my husband that I was just like, I want to get out of this marriage. Like, why do I have to be here with you for the rest of my life? I don't even, like, I felt so unloved with him. We felt like we were roommates in the house, because we were not communicating anymore. We were not connected anymore. So it just felt like a struggle to be married. I'm like, why do I have to even go through this? Why do I have to struggle and suffer for the rest of my life because I chose to marry you? Like, why? Why do I have to do that? But I'm not going to struggle and suffer for the rest of my life. I definitely will find a way out of whatever trials I'm going through. But that's what the devil wants. He wants to break marriages because he sees the blessings and the beauty of marriage. That you don't have to sin. You don't have to live in sin. You don't have to fornicate or commit adultery. Because when you're out in that world, now you'll be thinking, hey God, all those your whatever they are happening, all those your feelings. are happening, you'll be like, God, what am I going to do? Okay, let me masturbate. Okay, let me go and sleep with this person so that I feel better, you know? But when you're married, sometimes you don't even need to have sex because I don't know how to explain it, but like when you're out in the world, that's all you'll be thinking about, because most of us as human beings, we all want something that we cannot have. So when I was not married, that's all I could think about. I was like, God, if you don't want me to fornicate or commit adultery, then please give me a husband, because these urges. Anyway, I hope anybody's understanding anything I'm saying, because I feel like I'm just talking in different. So I hope you guys understand anything that it is I'm saying. Anyway, so let me keep reading. Um. Okay. So, verse Galatians 5, verse 16. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality. That's verse 19. Galatians 5, verse 19. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, racism, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions and envy, drunkenness and orgies, and the like. I warn you. Yeah, I said orgies. And the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. That is why when you are in the world, all these things I just mentioned now, you don't see it as a bad thing, or you don't see it as something that is a problem, because you're already living in that life. So you're just like, oh my God, like which sin is bigger? Like you guys are comparing who sinned the most. Oh, you did that, you did an orgy, oh my God, like what? Ah, you slept with that married man. Hey, you are praising yourself for each sin that you are committing, without knowing that the devil is trying to take your soul. The devil is trying to take your soul. And I was living in that world, and it wasn't easy for me to give up that lifestyle until I met Jesus Christ. So, Galatians 5. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace. Okay, you know what? Let me go back to all those verse 19 to 21. I found pleasure in those things and the sins I was doing, because it gave me some sort of escape, and it gave me pleasure. You know, anytime I fulfilled a desire of mine, I felt fulfilled. But living in the world, I still felt empty. With all my success, and with all my wealth, and with all my power, and with all my connections, I still felt empty inside. And I was like, what is this emptiness? What is this emptiness? And then my mom took me to deliverance, and I was like, you know what, let me just connect with God. Let me just really be here and be present, and like really worship him, and really listen to what the pastor has to say. And I felt so broken inside. I started seeing flashes of my sins. One by one, I was just seeing flashes of all the sins I've committed. And then I saw a really white light, and I felt the pressure to just go on my knees. And I was like, I'm sorry, God, I'm sorry. I couldn't even look up because the light was so bright and white. And I was like, and then there was this force pushing me to kneel down. And I was just on my knees and I was just crying. I felt so broken. I was crying. And he came to pray for me, and then I started shouting, I'm free, 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 I'm free. Because who the Son sets free is free again. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. So, Galatians 5 verse 22 says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. When you've given your life to Christ, now the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace. That's why, okay, let me just finish. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace. Now, I had all the things when I gave my life to Christ. I felt like before Christ, I felt like I didn't have a family because my family was just, I had a bad. Okay, my parents did their best, honestly, the best way they can, but my experience was not nice. So it made me feel like I had no family. So when I gave my life to Christ, God gave me my own family, my husband, my 2 children, and my in-laws. They are so kind to me, like ridiculously kind. The church, the congregation, love, so much love that I'm just like overwhelmed with it. Anytime I need anything, if I just mention it to anybody, they bring it to me. And I'm like, what is this that is happening? Like, I don't even know these people, and they just love me. So I felt full. Even with the little that I had, I still felt peace. I didn't feel that urge of like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need that. Because when you're in the world, that's all you're thinking about is to acquire things and to get higher than what you are. And when sometimes I'm even wondering, like, how did I even accept this kind of life? Like, I don't understand. And sometimes, some days are like that where I feel the peace and love of God. I just feel like I don't need anything else. Some days are like that. But when those bills start hitting up, they're like, oh, I need me a job. I need me some money. Anyway, God is Jehovah Jireh, and He's our provider. So He always provides. So, but I do need a job though. Like, I do need a job. But yeah, it's not. Anyway, I'm just going to say it. Like, now when you're with Christ, you have self-control. All those things, even when I was reverting back to my sins, I found that I wasn't finding the pleasure that I necessarily would get from a cigarette or from weed anymore. Because when I smoked it, I was just like, what am I doing? What is this? Now it was strange to me. I was just like, I'm not even feeling anything. And then when I even tried to eat it, so it was just like, why are you forcing yourself? Like, this thing is not working. I was like, God, which kind of thing is this? How do I get escape from these feelings of stress and of just suicidal thoughts and just like difficulty in life? Like, because people need to feel an escape from something, I think. So they go to all these things like sex or just to feel pleasure from something else. So I was trying to do that, trying to masturbate. Okay, you get pleasure for like what, 5 seconds, and then the remaining as what's going to happen. Your sorrows are back. So what's the point of committing sin? You know? Even all this gay stuff. I wasn't finding any pleasure in any of that anymore. I wasn't finding any pleasure in any of that. I kept, even while I was watching it, forcing myself to watch all those things. I was like, porn and all that stuff. Watching it, I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I here? What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because now it's strange to me, and I didn't feel the pleasure that I used to necessarily get from it before I gave my life to Christ. So yeah. Okay, so Galatians 5:23. Okay, let me just start from 22. Okay, Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Okay. Alright. So, those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. That's why now I'm not longing to even modeling. They're not accepting me there anymore. Every time I try, there must be something there that wasn't with God, because every time that they said no to me, I felt so broken and so useless. I felt like nothing. I felt invisible and low. Like, I felt like a product that they kept rejecting. And I was just like, why? Why do I need validation from these people so much? Why do I need to be seen and to be admired and praised for beauty so much? Why? Why? You know? But now modeling is... I've been living my life 5 years without modeling, and I'm surviving. Before Christ, I felt like that was the end. That was my God. Modeling, money, status, wealth. Sometimes it still is, but I try to pray to God, like, God, please. Transform my heart, or keep me strong, or show me, direct me where you want me to go, where your plans are for me, you know. And if it's modeling, so be it, let it be. But I don't want it to be a God in my life, because it was. That's all I did every day. Watched it, read about it. I was so like, I didn't have time for God. I would do anything to be ahead. I would do anything. And then I'll feel like crap afterwards. I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? What was in this modeling that I just have to have? That I have to do all kind of things. When you give your life to Christ, you don't see the point of doing any sin to get anything. Because in the end, where is your soul going to, Heaven or hell?